Have you ever felt lonely even when you weren't alone? And really, that's because loneliness isn't necessarily about being with other people, and it's not necessarily about being alone. And we can try to fix the sense of loneliness with noise, right? So, more messages, more scrolling, or we reach back into old dynamics or old relationships that never really felt aligned in the first place. And this feeling keeps returning because really it's not company that we're missing, it's connection. In Chinese medicine, the lung and large intestine are about connection. And it's not just connection to other people, but to life itself. They govern breath, inspiration, and expression. So when lung energy is low, inspiration drops, expression drops, and loneliness can arise. So loneliness isn't always about being alone. Sometimes it's more about being unexpressed or not feeling connected to yourself, your creativity, or something larger than you. So if loneliness has been showing up for you, I want to offer you a gentle way to meet it without distraction. So we'll explore loneliness more through the body in this practice as I guide you through a simple, easy breath and embodiment practice. And then you can use this practice anytime you feel these sensations arising in you. So you can meet them. You can meet this lack of inspiration or disconnection or loneliness rather than avoiding them. Loneliness isn't always loud, and it might not even be seen or labeled as loneliness. Instead, it can feel like boredom or disconnection or a lack of inspiration that's so chronic that it's just become normal. Because it's familiar and it's what we've been living with, we can just think, this is just how I am. I got the flu recently, and when I was experiencing this, it was more acute, right? My breath was really blocked. I was blocked through my lungs, and I could explicitly feel how my inspiration had dropped. And along with that came this rise of loneliness, and nothing in my life had changed other than I got the flu. But internally, I felt less connected. And that experience clarified something for me. If a temporary drop in my lung capacity could shift how connected I feel, what is it like for someone who's had shallow breathing for years? In Chinese medicine, the lungs govern inspiration, both literally and emotionally. They're about exchange of giving and receiving, taking life in and letting it go. And when that exchange is limited, whether that's temporary, like something with a cold or the flu, or it's chronic, we can feel disconnected from ourselves, from our creativity, and from God, from Source, universe, and life itself. Loneliness is framed as something to solve. You'll hear advice like, find your tribe, or put yourself out there. And of course, community absolutely matters, but connection and the feeling of connection isn't something we can outsource. Because if we're disconnected from ourselves, from our breath, from our expression, or from our internal rhythms, being around other people won't automatically resolve the sensation of loneliness, and it can even amplify it. So before we can truly find our people, we need to feel connected to ourselves. And this means having a willingness to feel ourselves no matter what we're feeling, and to be present with whatever arises without judgment. And this includes loneliness. And I'm sure you're aware of the saying that what we resist persists. Meaning when we avoid the sensation of disconnection, we stay disconnected from ourselves. And this feeds into an overall sense of disconnection and loneliness. So instead of trying to solve loneliness with action, with behavior, with how we relate with the outside world, we're going to practice meeting it by coming into the body and into the breath. And this can connect you with yourself, with your creativity and your expression, to be with the whole of yourself, no matter what arises, including disconnection, including loneliness. Let's get started. You can stay seated or you can lie down if that feels more comfortable for you. And once you're settled in, place one hand on your chest, on your heart, and your other hand on your lower belly, right around your belly button. And before changing anything, just begin to notice your breath. So notice if it's shallow or deep. Does it expand into your ribs at all? Or is it moving more in your chest? And so there's nothing to fix here. You're just noticing, bringing your compassionate awareness into your body and into your breath. And if loneliness has been chronic for you, your breath may feel small, shallow, quiet, or even a little guarded. And that's totally fine. It's still been supporting you. And now let your hands rest onto your lower ribs, or maybe it's just your fingers resting onto your lower ribs. And on your next inhale, see if you can gently widen your lower ribs into your hands. And then feel how the ribs relax and move in on your exhales. And noticing how softly and gently you can do this. And so this isn't about lifting your chest with your breath, but more about letting the sides of your body expand. So feeling this widening on your inhales and a softening on your exhales. And if your breath feels restricted, maybe it helps to imagine your breath moving sideways instead of forward. And you might even gently press your hands into your ribs to give your body something to breathe into, letting this be subtle. Loneliness often narrows the body and our expression. And so here we're just creating a little more space for the breath to move and for your lungs. Now on your next exhale, softly hum. So it doesn't have to be loud, just enough to feel vibration in your chest or in your throat. And then you can inhale through your nose and exhale, gently hum. So continuing this pattern of inhaling through the nose, exhaling with a gentle, soft hum, a vibrating hum. And notice if the vibration changes, how your breath feels. So sound is expression. Even small sound is contact. And if it feels safe, after a few rounds of humming, you can whisper out loud or say in your head, if that feels better for you, right now I feel. And finish the sentence with how you feel right now. And so there's no editing here, no analysis, just expression. And if you land on an expression that feels good, you can repeat it. You can let different words come out or move through your mind if that feels better. Letting your voice meet you in your body where you're at right now. Now, slowly extend your arms forward in front of you, just a few inches. So you're not reaching dramatically, but rather just reaching enough to feel the space in front of you. And pause there. Notice what it feels like to reach. And then you can slowly draw your arms back in and lightly wrap them around yourself, or rest your hands back onto your body. And then continue this. So reaching out, feeling the space in front of you, and then pausing and returning your hands back to your body, maybe to your chest, maybe to your belly, to your ribs. And continue this, noticing how connection isn't only outward. It's also the ability to return to yourself. And do that 2 more times, slowly. And whenever you're ready, you can bring your hands back to your body. And now take one slightly fuller breath in if it feels available to you. And notice if anything is shifted. Just subtle shifts in your breath, in your body, maybe in your mind or your emotions. It doesn't have to be dramatic. Loneliness doesn't always dissolve when we meet it, but something can change when we stop running from it. External connection becomes more natural when internal connection feels safer and steadier. Now, this is something you can return to anytime you notice boredom, disconnection, or like something is missing. And this isn't to fix yourself, but to come back into contact and connection with yourself. If this perspective resonates with you, I have a free 5-element self-nourishment guide that I have linked below. And it walks you through simple ways to support your body and your emotions, so including the lungs and the metal elements related to these heavier emotions. So connection can feel more embodied and less abstract. And if this video supported you, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear what loneliness feels like for you in your body. And subscribe so you continue to receive the practices I'm sharing every week here. Thank you so much for taking this time to take care of your breath and connect with yourself. I'll see you in the next practice.